Hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Movie Gage. As always, I'm your host, Austin Gage, and with me today is my co-host,
Grayson and I.
So, today we're going to be talking about Non-Stop.
Non-stop! Whoa! Neeson.
Okay, so Non-Stop stars Liam Neeson as a U.S. Air Marshal on a plane that is being hijacked, and it's up to you, the viewer, to figure out who
Did it.
Who did it.
Yeah.
Okay, so this film definitely takes the role of a whodidit cop drama. Liam Neeson plays the detective, and as he's figuring out what's going on, you're trying to do the same. And so what Grayson and I are going to try and do is just kind of talk about some things that we liked, some things that we didn't like, give you guys a score, and suggest whether or not to go see it. So Grayson, why don't you start us off?
All right. One of the things that I really liked about this is this film really kind of plays almost like a cop drama, where you're really trying to figure out who's the culprit, what's going on, and everything. And they do a great job of just keeping you guessing throughout the whole thing. They have so many characters that you're not sure of, that you're suspicious of. And they just do a great job of that. And even though there were times that I was like, oh, it's definitely this guy, or it's definitely that guy, I still had questions in my mind, throughout the whole thing. I was just like, I don't know about that. And so
Right.
That was the coolest thing for me about it.
I thought they did a good job of that as well. Some things that I did like about the movie, I really liked Liam Neeson. I always liked Liam Neeson most of the time. He, even in his bad movies, he is a tour de force. When he's on screen, he has your attention.
Yeah,
when he's
definitely.
speaking, you're like focused on him and what he's saying, and that's why he's really good at giving really great one-liners.
Yeah.
There were maybe like one or two of these in the film, so not as many as I would have liked.
Right.
But Liam Neeson was still just really great. One thing I didn't like about the film is some of the other acting in it, specifically Julianne Moore.
Yeah.
Typically, I think she's an excellent actress. She's been in a lot of different films. If you've seen her, you know her. She's typically a really, really great actress, but in this film, I really felt like she was underused.
Yeah, there was definitely a couple scenes when she would go on screen. I just felt like everything just kind of stopped, and all the action kind of stopped. And there was just times when I would just watch them like do their thing, where they're, oh yeah, we love each other, and it was just like I would eat popcorn and just kind of sit back and be like. And I guess it was a good time, to take a breather, but I wanted it to just be like action-packed the whole time.
Yeah.
And it would stop.
And it's funny because this is a ridiculous action movie. A lot of like the physics of planes, I don't really understand, but I'm pretty sure they took creative license with how those work. Also with bullets and guns, I'm not really sure how those work within like 30,000 feet up.
Right.
But out of all of those ridiculous things that happen in a Liam Neeson action movie, the most ridiculous thing to me was her performance next to him, flirting or whatever.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
All right, so this is an action film. What did you think of the action in general?
The action's pretty basic stuff. Any kind of Liam Neeson film, whether it's Taken or Taken 2, they kind of have the same generic action stuff. Hand-to-hand combat and some gunfire and stuff. And so there's nothing huge, spectacle, or anything special in this kind of film. And so from that standpoint, it's all right. But there's cool hand-to-hand combat.
There is.
I mean, what'd you think about it?
I thought the hand-to-hand combat was combat was actually handled really well. Typically, I really hate in an action film when the director chooses to do like handheld. He's like close up, and he's like shaking it around, and so it looks really blurry. And maybe that's how a fight actually happens. But when I'm watching one on screen, I guess I was raised on like Jackie Chan films. I really like to know who's fighting who, where the punches are coming from. And I think that they did a good job with that. I think that the camera was very stationary during those scenes, and so we were able to watch a lot of the choreography and the fights. And that, to me, made it exciting. But there was one scene that was absolutely ridiculous, and I could not get behind it. Okay, so in the film, there's a scene where Liam Neeson has a gun. Not a huge surprise. And he's jumping through the air, or rather through the plane corridors.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to go ahead and act this out. But it literally lasts for almost a minute. And it's just Liam Neeson going...
And he's just aiming. That's the only thing he's doing. He's like, yeah, it's just long enough for you to just be like, oh
yeah,
gosh.
exactly. And I'm like,
shoot your gun.
I realized it was in slow motion, but no one is in the air for that long.
Yeah.
And so, all right. So on the movie Gage, typically we give a scale of 1 to 10. Say the score that we give for it. Final thoughts, and then whether or not the people should go see it. Okay. So, what did you think?
So, some of my final thoughts. First of all, I want to talk about this real quick.
Yeah.
There's this. I mean, you see this in the trailer. There's this cool texting thing where, you know, when Liam Neeson receives a text or so, they have this cool just little title and stuff that you can see. If you've ever seen the show Sherlock, they do that a lot with Sherlock.
Yeah.
All their titles, and it's cool, but it gets a little long-winded at times.
Right.
You're kind of like, oh. I mean, come on, let something else happen.
It was like 30% of the dialogue was through a text screen.
Yeah.
So if that's going to bother you, maybe that's something to take into account.
Yeah, definitely. Kind of last thoughts for me. This is definitely just kind of your generic action flick. Liam Neeson's in it, which is awesome. I might see it again with a group of friends if we had a movie night or something, but it's not going to be one that I'm necessarily going to buy. It's just like a generic action film. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a 6. That's about the score that I'm going to give it. It's not outstanding, it's not bad, but it's just a Liam Neeson movie, if you like Liam Neeson.
Yeah, I thought it was very much a popcorn flick starring Liam Neeson. You've seen it 100 times now. If you haven't seen it, then this will be a brand new experience for you.
It will.
It's not going to win any Oscars. Liam Neeson's not going to get nominated for anything. But it was... and even though it was dull in moments, it was a good time for the majority. And I think that it's a perfectly good film to go see with some of your friends, maybe on college night at a theater, with some popcorn and some Coke. And so all in all, I'm going to give it a 6 as well.
It's definitely great to go see with your friends or your enemies.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you know, you can make a friend.
You can make a friend.
By going to see this film with them. All right, so that is all that we have for this week's episode of the Movie Gauge. We're going to start doing these way more often. Hopefully Grayson can join me again.
Well.
Yeah. Okay, well. and if he can't, then I'm going to try and keep doing them as well. So we hope that you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.